What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the GITM podcast, where we cover the true crime, the paranormal, conspiracies, and all that happy shit.
Where we just fucking kind of suck a little bit.
Welcome to everybody in the chat. Thank you for showing up. If you're new to the program, we record these live on our YouTube channel. If you're hearing this on your favorite podcast app, be sure to head on over to youtube.com and subscribe and catch us live, because that's where the fun happens. The magic happens is in the YouTube live stream.
I don't know. I feel like we're much more appealing to the ear than to the eye.
Well, yeah, we have faces for radio.
Yeah.
Well, not really faces, bodies for radio.
I feel like we're the types that, like, if somebody listens to us on Spotify and then they go to the YouTube channel, they're like, oh, fuck.
And if they go to the YouTube channel, if you're listening to this, go to the YouTube channel, check us out. You will see my amazingly receding hairline. I forgot to wear a hat, and this is what happens. But it happens when you get old.
It might be because of the hat that the hairline's receding. You never know.
I don't get.
It automatically made me want to sing the song from Cool Runnings. Oh. Feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme. Get on up, it's bobsled time.
All right, but
I haven't seen that fucking classic in a while.
Yeah, we are talking about the afterlife. Do we live after death? And I think this is an interesting topic.
Do we float off into the ethereal nothing?
I think this is really, really interesting because, you know, being a paranormal, a lot of people, if you're new to the program, this basically was just a paranormal podcast. Mm-hmm. A lot of ghost hunting went on.
Yeah.
Before Travis.
Which I would like to get back into. It's been a really long time.
And that, if you do a lot of investigations in the paranormal or in the spirit world or the ghost world,
you get bored.
It's kind of hard to do it if you don't believe in an afterlife. I shouldn't say it's hard, but there has to be. For my personal belief, there has to be something if this is all there is, and we are born, we die, and we go to the abyss, and nothing happens. That will be the biggest boner killer on the planet.
Well, I mean, I think we've established we've figured out what ghosts are. We live in a simulation, and ghosts are like those deleted files that are never actually deleted off your computer.
We can get into that. I mean, when it comes to that, ghosts could be actual what they appear to be, afterlife beings interacting with. I look at it like, say, you know, religious people of the church tend to not like the paranormal or the ghosting, if you will.
Ghosting.
Because it kind of defeats the purpose of you either go one or two places, up or down. You hit the elevator up or you hit the elevator down.
What if you go diagonal?
I mean, then you can throw in purgatory and all that happy bullshit, but that's great. So they don't necessarily believe, or it doesn't fit in their mindset to actually have another plane where spirits can actually interact with the world, this world. Mm. So it doesn't really fit their narrative. However, I think, you know, if heaven, you know, is an actual real place, I believe they get a day pass. Wouldn't the big guy come fuck with the living?
Like, what was that shitty 80s show? The angel with the cell phone?
You have to be really more specific.
Well, it wasn't actually a cell phone, but wasn't there a show where there was like a fucking angel and he was like sent to do something for somebody and like he had like a fucking angel phone?
I don't, this is not ringing a bell.
Were angels in the outfield?
Oh, that's a horrible fucking movie.
I agree.
Some of Danny Glover's worst work.
Shit, Danny Glover is in that piece of shit, isn't he?
That too?
I don't fucking know.
Isn't that the one with the kid who his grandpa owned the angels or whatever?
No. You're thinking
that's right.
Rookie of the Year.
That's right.
Where the kid like breaks his arm.
Yeah.
Or no.
Yeah, I think he breaks his arm and he can throw really fast. It's got what's his name? Gary Busey.
Yeah, is
before the motorcycle wreck.
Is that one?
I think so, yeah.
I don't know.
But Angels in the Outfield, I forget. It's got, what is that one? I forget who the...
So was the kid that looks like an Inuit, and he's in like a group home or some shit.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because he got the little black kid that follows him around. Because I think Danny Glover adopts both of them at the end. It's basically like Mike.
I will say this: I've never seen the end, so I do not know.
Yeah, it's basically like Mike for baseball.
I do know Christopher Lloyd is one of the angels, isn't he?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think he's like the lead.
Doc Brown.
He's the archangel, the Michael of the angel, or whoever the lead angel is. I don't know.
But anyway,
the pace car of angels.
But I think the afterlife is very fascinating. I mean, like I said earlier, personally, there has to be something. If this is it, fuck off.
You'd hope that if there is more, it's way more interesting than this horse shit.
In this episode, we're going to talk about, I wanted to originally call it proofs of the afterlife, but that's really kind of lame.
Well, then there's no like actual proof.
Well, there's things that can be interpreted as proof, but not scientific, we'll say. So basically, we're going to cover two or three things that maybe don't make the afterlife maybe more plausible. But here's the thing with the paranormal: there's always a scientific explanation. And and we're fair. We're fair, balanced news here. We cover both sides.
We're the bisexuals of the news world.
Okay, I can be down with that.
Well, speaking of news and science, you know those astronauts finally made it back.
Oh yeah, that's right. Elon went and got them.
To be up there for like a month, and they were there for like 9.
Elon went and Ubered them.
Is that what it was?
Did they call it Uber?
Did they catch a ride on that fucking Tesla, whatever that he launched into space with a fucking crash test dummy in it?
Probably. I don't know.
But yeah, could you imagine that? What happens with that? Like, because you're clearly not prepared for them to be there.
Being stranded in space.
The first thing I thought of is childish, as immature as it is. I'm like, what happens to all the poop if you're not prepared for that much inhabitants for that long? It's space. You can't just poop in a corner. It floats.
I would imagine they poop in a bag.
I would hope, because I know they would. I'm gonna have to look into that now, because now I'm wondering, like, do space toilets just flush into space?
The vacuum of space.
Because as long as you shoot it away from Earth, you shouldn't have a problem.
Well, what if it gets caught up in the orbit of, in an orbit around Earth?
And you got a shit meteor?
Like a year or two later.
Calm shit?
A year or two later, somebody's out on the space station doing something, doing some fix. Doing
it hits the windshield.
And all of a sudden they're just in there, and a big thing of shit just comes over and smacks them in the head.
It'd be icy. It'd be like rock hard, too.
Oh, yeah.
Or well, maybe that's why there's going to be a alien invasion in Armageddon.
Why?
Because
space poop?
Because maybe there's a specific trajectory for what we think is a safe launching of shit from space stations, and they're all going to the same place. And there's some, in 100 million years from now, there's just some planet that's getting like bombarded with giant Joe Dirt comets.
Here's the thing. Speaking of space, I am down to make fun of the flat earthers. I'm always down for it. If I want to if I'm feeling down in the dumps and feeling like I'm not that smart, I will YouTube flat earthers, and I feel intelligent.
I've been on some really weird rabbit holes on YouTube lately. This is an Australian guy who's like an idiot savant of a craftsman, and he's like, you know what Beyblades are?
No.
The things, they're toys. They came out in like the early 2000s. They like fucking, you rip the thing and they like spin, and you gotta like, they have arenas and they like battle, and like first one to stop or get knocked out loses. Like I just watched him. He made one of those with a chainsaw. Like took the blade off a chainsaw and used that as the whatever I never played with them, but like they have a launcher, I guess.
Yeah.
And like a fucking like 18-inch saw blade.
Seems a little dangerous to me.
Yeah, they went to some old abandoned like fucking drug house to test it. That I guess is where they test their more dangerous things.
That's always a good place to test shit. Drug house.
Yeah, he also made his own. What do they call them? There's an actual tool. The like bolt drivers, the 22 caliber ones.
Yeah.
Like he made one of the a sledgehammer that was powered by a 22 caliber. Oh, a 22 caliber shell. Yeah. He made it himself. and it was fucking hilarious. He's like testing. He got evicted because of it.
Bastards.
Because he was trying to test it, and it was just like launching through the two. He was like hiding behind some shit, and he like hit it to test to see if it would work, and it would like launch through the 2x4, and he ended up with just 3 sideways nails fucking plugged into the ceiling of his garage. He's hilarious. He makes stuff and he like talks, he's very degrading towards himself, and I'm like, no, you're a fucking engineer. I don't know if he's actually an engineer in real life, but he is on YouTube for sure.
Well, we're on YouTube, so that doesn't say much.
I'm just like, you watch it and he's just like, he does stupid shit and you're like, but it works. So clearly you're not that dumb.
True.
Perfect thought. Do you think there's poop in heaven? Do you think there's bodily functions?
I would not think so.
Can you imagine how much that would suck?
I think you're in your spirit. If you're in your spirit is there, not in your spirit. Your spirit is there. And I don't believe your spirit has to drop a deuce.
There's just fucking
Call me
angels.
crazy.
There's winged angels walking around with skid marks.
But I'll tell you one thing. It would definitely, if there is urination and pooping in heaven, it gives new meaning to the word golden shower.
Oh.
Ah.
Or maybe it's just like the old Skittles commercials, and everybody just shits Skittles and candy. It's a thought.
It's possible. Well, anyway, let me get back to my flat Earth thing, and it has to do with space.
I had no idea you were on such a flat Earth kick.
No, I'm not actually. But just we were talking about shit flying, space shit. But there's one thing
Literal space shit,
Literal.
not space things.
But one thing the flat earthers will say is satellites are bullshit. Because we've launched so many, and there's so much, according, even over the past however long we've been going to space since, 57, I think, Sputnik was the first.
I don't know, when the Russians send that poor little dog into space?
Somewhere around in the 50s.
I love how have you seen the picture of that thing?
No.
You can actually look up a picture of this dog and like knowing that they had zero intention of figuring out a way for it to get back to Earth. They're just like, goodbye, doggy. Love you.
But so the flat earthers complain, say that satellites aren't real and it's all bullshit. And can you imagine the junkyard that is spinning around the planet? All the just space junk.
Oh yeah, like basically like the ocean trash island of space.
Right. And if I've watched some documentaries, and if what they say is true, I've never been to space, so I don't know. But they say
I've been there a couple times.
A micro meteor type thing could punch a hole in the space station or whatever.
If it's moving fast enough.
Yeah, because it is moving fast enough. The way they say the ship spins around. It'd be like a shooting gallery trying to get out of our atmosphere now.
Well, that's the problem with a lot of travel, depending on where you're going in the solar system, is meteor belts and shit like that.
But I'm just saying we
come to find out it's all just poop.
I mean, we put so much junk up in space. And some of them fuckers on the spacewalk tightening a bolt, and who hasn't dropped a wrench or dropped a bolt? They got them big ass fucking gloves on. There's probably a million fucking bolts, nuts and bolts floating around.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to take a dive on the flat Earth.
There's just some fucking like multi-celled organism just using space trash to build like the conqueror of worlds.
Maybe.
Like those little short guys from Star Wars just floating around like
the junk collector, what was it? In Star I
don't fucking know. The Jawas?
Yeah, whatever.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
The fact that I pulled that out of my ass, not being a Star Wars person, is impressive.
Very impressive.
I pulled that out of my ass like the vacuum of space pulls astronaut poop out. Could you imagine? Like, what happens if you shit your pants on the space station? Like, you're not hiding that.
You shit your pants.
Like, I feel like... Oh, and also I did see somewhere that scientifically, yes, a human fart will propel you in space.
There is some thrust there.
Yeah.
But speaking of the astronauts, before we get into
I think they did that on Rocket Man
after death. What were they up to? 9 months or something?
Yeah. They're only supposed to be there for like a couple weeks.
Man and woman there for 9 months. You know.
Imagine the stupid shit they argued about.
You know.
I'm more interested in the dumb arguments they had.
Well, they had to hit it and argue. And I'm not that good at that with gravity. I must really be shitty at sex.
I feel like it would be dangerous.
I mean, I just want to know how that works. Somebody should make a documentary about that, how to have sex in a zero gravity.
Imagine what it'd be like to be a hoarder in space.
A whore in space?
Hoarder.
Oh, hoarder. No. Never thought about it.
I feel like it'd be easier to get around. You could just like swim through everything instead of having to traverse through it.
That's possible. I don't know. All right. We've went 20 minutes on bullshit. Should we get into it?
I guess.
All right. Do we live after death? Is the question.
We're choppy.
Is there an after death? Or after death? After birth?
It'd be it's the same thing, really.
Is there life after death? That is what we're going to discuss. And you can't talk about the spirit world without talking about this world. Therefore, we are a little choppy. How do we prove there's an afterlife?
You can't.
We can take into account some of the things that we experience on this in our lives and maybe connect some dots. Near-death experiences, or NDEs, as the hip kids say. Basically, these are profound events that occur when a person is close to death or temporary clinically dead. They often described as having an altered state of consciousness with vivid and sometimes spiritual experiences. They're reported across different cultures, religions, different continents. Everybody has experienced this, or not every culture have experienced these.
It's the erectile dysfunction of out-of-body experiences.
And throughout all these cultures and time that this has been going on, there have been some common occurrences. Generally, it happens with cardiac arrest, severe trauma, coma, near drowning incidents, major surgeries, life-threatening accidents. So basically, anytime you die.
Yeah, it reads.
We could have shortened that list. Anytime you die.
Overdoses, Taco Bell.
Now,
post-Taco Bell syndrome.
That's just your anus dying. Common features of NDEs, out-of-body experience, feeling separated from the physical body.
Yeah. No shit.
Your spirit hitting the eject button, seeing their bodies unconscious and observing medical personnel working on them. The tunnel experience, which I'm assuming the tunnel experience, I'm taking that as the white light.
I was thinking it was more like the way that Lawrence Fishburne's vision would tunnel out in that Biker Boys movie.
Never seen it.
It's basically a shitty, like if you made Fast and Furious for street bikes and then made it kind of corny, you have Biker Boys.
Oh, okay.
That being said, I have watched it like 10 times in my life. There's something about it that's interesting, but it's still pretty fucking dumb.
Basically, the tunnel experience is a sensation of moving through a dark tunnel toward a bright light. Which is... lights often...
Isn't that supposed to be... Go ahead.
The lights are often described as warm, loving, and divine.
Isn't that supposed to be... Isn't there like some theory out there that that's just some like that's related to birth in some way?
I have heard that. And I've also heard that other people, depending on who you talk to, which side of the fence you are on, there are those that believe that light and those people calling you to come to them
are porn stars.
No, is actually the down south people. Because I've heard people say, don't go to the light, whatever you do. I do not care about...
I've also seen that.
So, what do you do? What do you do? Go to the light or not go to the light?
You be a follower. You go to the light.
Right.
Hell's gonna be more fun anyway. They definitely shit in hell. They serve nothing but Skyline.
Hot, steamy shit.
They serve nothing but Skyline and Taco Bell and White Castle in hell.
Well, it can't be that bad. It can't be that bad then.
It is eventually. It's like sinning. You make a decision, and then later on, it's like, this is what you've brought yourself to. And you're stuck because, you know, it's hell. So the toilet seat's probably hot. It's like automatically stocked with someone else's pee from using it before you that you have you can't wipe it off. You're just forced to sit on it.
Nice.
It does that weird thing where like you pee while you're pooping because every poo-poo time is pee-pee time, but not every pee-pee time is poo-poo time, and it hits like the rim and goes over the front of the toilet. Don't act like you've never done it.
I've never done it.
You've never had the pee like where it's like goes at the right angle and it hits like the rim of the toilet and just like creeps over the top of it.
You know what I hate? Well, I might as well get down the gutter with you here. Fuck it. Urinals.
What about them?
You know, they have...
I've always wanted one in my house.
They have standard person urinals and little person urinals.
Yeah.
And if I get stuck in the little person urinal...
Are they for kids or are they for little people?
I don't know. We have one at work, and I don't understand it. There's no little people working at work, and we have no kids. It's not slave labor. But every now and then I'll get stuck in one of them sumbitches. And the angle of the dangle... It hits the back and comes right back on you.
Some of them are worse than others.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thought. Maybe they are. Maybe we've spent our whole life. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Maybe we've spent our whole life thinking that those urinals are for children, but they're in fact for Vern Troyers.
Vern Troyers.
R.I.P.
All right, let's get back.
He could have used one when he was on The Surreal Life. Did you ever watch that shit?
No.
You ever watch The Surreal Life at all? Take washed up celebrities and put them in a house.
Yeah.
He was on there one year and he got like hammered drunk and he like rolled around on his little scooter.
Was that the one where Flavor Flav and Brigitte Nielsen got together?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, he like
Vanilla Ice was in there.
He like pissed on some dumbbells or something while he like off the side of his scooter while he was like trash drunk.
Sweet.
Yeah, and he's like and just pissing all over the floor.
Nice.
And everybody's like, what do we do? I'm like, he's basically a baby. You just pick him up, put him back to bed. Sure. Give him a bottle of something other than liquor.
Yeah, don't give him that bottle.
Burp him, and then put him to bed.
All right. Other things that are common experiences in NDEs throughout all the cultures that experience these. Encountering, I should say, beings or entities, meeting deceased loved ones, spiritual beings, or religious figures. So if I...
Jesus.
Ooh. Maybe a little fat for the chair.
Did you get that chair from Hot Topic?
Yeah. If I would have... I've never had an NDE that I know of. I would think I would remember. Now, I don't know. I might mention it. People talk about another thing they experience is like time slowing down. Now, I've had that.
It's called work.
No, I remember when I broke my back and I fell. That shit happened in slow fucking motion. I was like, whoa, shit.
Doctor said my back was broken.
But, you know.
Did you talk like Mike Tyson briefly after that happened?
No.
Were you rolling around on the bed like my back?
That is.
My spinal.
That is the closest I've come to having a near-death experience. Because I literally thought I was going to die. I could not breathe. It knocked the wind out of me. I've never had the wind. I've had the wind knocked out of me before, but that was a special kind of...
Yeah, because you broke your spine.
Yeah.
That's an interesting thought. Speaking, we've been talking about poop. Legitimate question. What? The first time you had to poop after you broke your back, was it excruciating?
Yeah, because I was on so much fucking pain pills. I was...
Well, because that's like, because I've had back issues, clearly, obviously not to that degree, but like that, until you get used to it, is fucking horrible. Because like there's no give when you sit down and shit like that. Like, I've never thought of that. That's a legitimate thought. It's gross and childish, but like, that shit sucks when your back's fucked up.
But I was in so much pain. There was a gap between me breaking my back and me going to the hospital. Mm-hmm. So I was, sucking it up, Buttercup.
Right.
And I was chewing on Advil. You cannot.
Did you get a donut?
You cannot OD on Advil or Aleve or any of that shit. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
No, it just destroys your liver.
Because I was chewing that shit like Tic Tacs. I was popping them motherfuckers, and it wasn't doing shit. But the only thing it did was clogged me up. That's about the only thing it fucking did was clog my
That's the worst.
bowels up.
I hate when I can't go to the bathroom. Your butthole just feels like it's like the hose in a cartoon. You know, when Wile E. Coyote holds the one into the hose, and you can see the big ball going back and forth.
Yeah, but this
Only people that have had serious back problems will understand that is a legitimate fucking question.
But when I broke my back, it knocked the wind out of me. I was laying there going, I couldn't breathe. I could literally remember this, telling myself, breathe, and I was like,
do anything.
I was like, fuck, this is how I die. I'm gonna die on patio pavers in somebody's backyard, not even my own fucking backyard, all by myself with 2 dogs licking my face. This is how I'm going to die. I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Can you imagine if you got like partially paralyzed momentarily and you're just laying there and you're still so caught up in the moment and stunned that you're like, is this how I die? But they're like, if people are just gathering around you, checking on you, and you're just like rolling around, like just farting and groaning and not realizing it. And you're like, I hope my family knows I love them. And everybody just watching you like,
And then but the worst part was once I started breathing again, I was like, okay, I'm breathing. I'm not dead. I'm pretty sure I'm alive. I'm breathing. I was laying on my back, kind of tilting my head, saw my car about 30 feet away. I was like, oh, fuck, this is going to be a problem.
I'm going to have to Andy Dufresne it.
So I just crawled up there. I was a fucking mess. But
usually when something like that happens to me, as stupid as it sounds to some people, my first thought is like, where's my cigarettes? Any traumatic experience requires a cigarette afterwards.
That's true. But anyway, they in these NDEs, a lot of times people, like I said, just to recap, encounter beings or entities, a lot of times loved ones, religious figures. But that would be the one I want to, if I have a near-death experience, I want a religious figure. Say, Jesus, come see me, buddy.
I want an action figure. I want He-Man.
But I want Jesus to come to me when I have my near-death experience, and I can say, shit, he's not white.
Just so you can confirm it.
Come back.
See, that's where
Jesus wasn't white.
That's where everybody differs. Some people want to see Jesus or Allah when they are about to die. I want like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to come down in their fucking Ninja Turtle blimp and be like, "Cowabunga, dude!" And I'll be like, "Yes."
I hope.
Did you bring that absurdly cheesy pizza that was in all of your TV shows and comic books?
I want the being to greet me at the tunnel of light to be Elvis.
With their tunnel
To be Elvis.
Oh, Fat Elvis or young Elvis?
Oh, no, you know Elvis in heaven's not bad.
It's got to be young Elvis.
It's young Elvis. Prime getting laid up.
Now we're talking about Elvis. It all just comes back to shit.
Bite your
What if that'd be funny? That'd be the best part is if you were like, if it was like, hey, Philly, baby. And you were like, oh, Elvis. And he was like, and it was Fat Elvis. And you're like, fuck.
Even Fat Elvis probably got laid more than I did.
Like, this is worse than the time I fell asleep on the family road trip and woke up in Arizona.
All right. Another aspect of the near-death experience would be the life review. A rapid or... Where am I? Oh, there it is. A rapid or whatever view of your life events. Feeling the emotions that caused... That basically, we live in your emotions.
Yeah.
So, when I have mine... I'll relive all the pain I suffered, my broken back, all that happy shit. I imagine you get the good times too, hopefully.
So that's like the what is it, RIPD when Nancy bought whatever the fuck from Weeds is sitting there like going over the paperwork. You basically have to do that every time.
Probably.
That would fucking suck.
But hopefully it's in fast forward. But
the second time it happens, you're like, we got more to go over this time, don't we?
I mean, I think if my life review would be a lot of, what the fuck was I thinking?
Be like, are you sure you want to go back? Because you're not very good at that.
You might as well stay here, kid.
You'd be much better at being a dead person.
But people do report feeling a sense of peace and euphoria. Not
the TV show.
Not the TV show.
Shock is surprisingly good. It's coming back, actually.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I can't watch it.
Everybody but...
obviously, what's his name? What was his name? The best part of the show. Who died?
Oh, the drug dealer?
Yeah.
Angus Cloud was his real name.
What was his name in the show?
I don't know, but everybody, obviously minus the ones that are dead, because I think somebody else from that show died. But didn't the little kid die? Didn't his little brother die too?
That I don't know. I just know he died.
I don't know. The bigger girl that was like did like the online dominatrix thing.
Oh, really?
She's not coming back.
Oh,
I don't know why.
huh?
I think she's on some other TV show.
And what's her name's probably, is she coming back?
Zendaya?
No, the other one, Sweeney.
Sydney Sweeney?
Yeah,
The blonde girl?
Yeah.
As far as I know.
because she's kind of.
The only person I saw that's not coming
Her and her
back
boobs have blown up since that. I figured she might be too good for that show.
I don't know. Well, that show was fucking huge, dude.
She did the classic When Harry Met Sally Super Bowl commercial, where she did that.
This Super Bowl commercial had shit commercials.
That I can't argue with.
There's a handful of good ones. The Seal one was fucking great.
Oh, see, I didn't like it.
I thought it was hilarious. It was perfect. The Shane Gillis one was good.
With
Post Malone.
you can't drink beer on. Is that one, or is there another one where they're sitting in the lawn chairs? You can't drink a beer in a commercial. And they start 5, 4.
Is it the same one?
I don't know if that's one.
The one with the cookout where he's got like the 30-foot long Bud Light trailer or cooler behind his lawnmower, or his smoker that is a lawnmower.
No, that's not the one I'm thinking of.
He said, what, your lawnmower cooks meat? He's like, no, my smoker cuts grass. He's like, I spend most of my money on this.
Okay, let's see. Okay, like I said, people feel a peaceful feeling, euphoria. It's described as the most beautiful experience imaginable. Awesome. Good for you, kids.
I don't believe that.
Let's see. Often people have reported having to make a decision or a message to give to somebody when they return. At some point during your near-death experience, it has been reported an individual is told or has to decide to return to the body or stay.
That's stupid.
Hey, do you want to go back or do you want to stay?
You have to make your own decision.
Give me a coin there, Jesus. Let's flip it. Often reluctant to return due to the peaceful, or people generally say that they are reluctant to return because of the feeling of peace and the nature of the experience. This is it. Time distortion. Yeah. Time appears to slow down, speed up, or stop entirely while you're experiencing a near-death experience.
That sounds like a metal band.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, time distortion.
Now, some people have also, when they've come back, had enhanced senses and knowledge.
Like the guy that could speak Mandarin when he came back from a coma or some shit like that.
People feelings of universal knowledge or understanding about the way things work. But
that's a little different.
No, actually, but you're on some. I've known two people. Well, one person I knew pretty well. The other person I knew of, I met him. We talked. We were like buddies that had near-death experiences. They actually died and came back. I might be jumping the gun a little bit here. Okay, no. But one of them did have kind of like I don't want to say the psychic ability, but they.
I know who you're talking about.
They did have some kind of. Not precog, but they had a good sense about.
Are you talking about the guy that I'm thinking you're talking about?
Probably not.
The guy that we did the thing with.
Oh no, he's one of them. But that wasn't what I was talking about.
I was like, because that guy's an interesting cat.
Another guy I know, but not really well, he had one, and a lot of people report this. No fear of death. That is somebody you don't want to drive with. Because he gives zero fucks. He is not afraid of death. He will go skydiving without a parachute. Don't give a fuck.
Is there a reason?
He's not afraid of death because he knows what's on the other side. He feels, which maybe he does. I don't know.
I feel like just because you have a near-death experience doesn't mean you actually know what's on the other side, though. That'd be the worst. Like, you have one and then you finally die and you're like, what the fuck is this shit?
Because I think this is the big issue about death. I would say 99% of us fear death to a certain extent. And it's the fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
I mean, because I remember when I had my stroke, I had my stroke. Well, I'll share. This is share time. When I was in bed asleep, I woke up. So I woke up, I was actively having a stroke. Mm-hmm. I remember it didn't bother me.
I don't think I was here either.
No, you were here.
Was I?
Yeah. You were. I could hear you snoring. That way I knew I wasn't in hell.
Well,
I forget how many nights. I was in the hospital, 2 nights, I think, something like that. I think at least one night, maybe 2.
One night for sure.
No, I was in.
I want to say it was 2.
I was in. I'm pretty sure I was in for 2 nights.
I think so.
Yeah, I was in for 2 nights.
Because I didn't come up there until, you didn't even go till later, quote unquote, later in the day.
No,
considering what was happening.
I went first thing in the morning. I went to work first.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because I didn't go up there till after I got off work.
Yeah. Besides, I was in there for 2 nights.
Which somebody at work was like, do you want to just get out of here? I'm like, he's still going to be there when I get off. Like, he's not going. He's not going anywhere.
If he dies,
he dies.
But it didn't bother me when I was in the hospital. The 2 nights I was in the hospital. That first night when I was home, going to bed, I was like, I was a little leery to go to bed.
Yeah,
I had that urge. Okay, I better call my daughters, say goodbye.
Just start sending "I love yous" to random
everybody,
people.
Just texting everybody. And I remember laying in bed going, well, guess I'm gonna close my eyes. I guess we'll find out. Worst case scenario, what the fuck it is all about. But that I think that is the fear of the unknown is really what I think why people dread death, fear death. Because if it is just you're dead and that's it, that's all, folks.
Did you mean to stutter?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was Porky Pig.
Yeah. You ever Porky Pig it?
What do you mean?
So you just walk around the house with just a t-shirt on?
No.
No?
I don't even walk around the house with no shirt on.
I can't say that I've ever Porky Pigged it on purpose, but I've definitely Porky Pigged in my life.
I've never walked around. Now, it's happened just in mere changing, but I don't walk around. I'm fully clothed whenever I walk around this house.
I feel weird being naked.
Even if you didn't live here and there wasn't a fucking stream of people coming in and out of here.
A stream of person.
But even if I live alone,
I'm kind of the same way.
I'm fully clothed. I shut the door when I'm in the bathroom. Even if I'm alone.
Unless I have a reason not to.
And the people that use the bathroom with the door open, they're serial killers.
I'll do that, and sometimes.
No, I want privacy even when I'm alone. Because my luck, that's when I get robbed. I hate to finally break in at gunpoint while I'm on the shitter.
I'll definitely more often than not pee. I don't want to say more often than not, but I will more. It's less rare that I pee with the door open than poop with the door open.
Wait, it's less rare that you pee with the door open? You'll poop with the door open?
No, like I pee with the door open more than I poop with the door open.
Okay.
Because, when you're peeing, sometimes you're just like, oh, well, stop by here. Or it's like when you're coming home from work and you're like, oh, like it hits you halfway. But there's also times where I'll poop with the door open. Yeah. Especially like if I wake up early in the morning and you've already gone to work and like it's still dark, then like I just don't give a shit. Because I'm like, I'm not trying to have my eyes open anyway. Because then you let the tire, that's how the tired gets out.
Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
Try not to look at your phone so the blue light doesn't wake up your brain. Just have a poop.
All right. Yeah, but no. But anyway, I think people fear death and the fear of the unknown. And if this is it, they don't want the ride to end, I guess. To where if there is something after this is just one stop in a greater journey. Ooh, that was very poignant.
Pungnant.
it's not, there's nothing to fear. If you know there's something else after this that's probably better than this shithole world I live in, well, you might even look forward to it.
Well, and there's different ways to look at that shit too. Because I wouldn't say I'm afraid of death. I don't want it to happen. What?
I thought I heard the wall caving in.
It's gonna happen, but yeah, like I wouldn't say I'm afraid of death, because like it's kind of hard. I feel like it's kind of futile to be afraid of something that is A, inevitable, B, completely random if you really think about it.
Right.
But I don't want that to happen. You know what I'm saying?
Like most, and here's the thing, like most things in life, people talk a good game until it's happening.
Right.
Maybe when that time comes and see, I think there's two different ways, in my opinion, people die.
Like men?
No, suddenly, where it's unexpected and there's probably a lot of fight.
That's how I would want it to happen.
And fear, to where, countless stories of people who, like, especially cancer, people fighting cancer, that are basically just waiting to die. Mm-hmm. They've made peace with it, and like a lot of times people are just waiting for their loved one, like the family, to show up one last time, and then they just let go. Those are the only two ways it happens. You either say, all right, I'm ready, and just wait for something, the sign from unfinished business, I guess would be a good way to finish that.
That's how you get ghosts.
And just let go. Or the sudden rapid death. And there's more fear in that, probably more, I don't want to say pain, anguish, I guess would be a good word.
See, that's my thing. I say it all the time. I'm like, if I'm definitely going to die, just like unbeknownst to me, just Wile E. Coyote the shit out of me. Just drop a fucking anvil from a height and just like stung.
We're going to shove an Acme rocket up your ass and send you to the moon. Now, getting back to NDEs,
he finally gets to poop in space.
There's always those scientific buttheads that want to piss on my parade.
Buttheads, fucking butt munchers.
Scientific theories behind NDEs. Lack of oxygen, low oxygen levels may cause hallucinations or altered perceptions. Valid point. Sudden endorphin release. The brain is flooded with chemicals producing euphoria and peace, which could explain all of the NDEs experiences. Temporal lobe activity. Stimulation of certain... What the specific... Wow. Here's how good I am. That's all one word.
I see
it's supposed to be three. Certain specific areas may include induce spiritual, but I fuck up induce.
It would have been better if you just read it as is. Stimulation of certain specific areas.
Contains specific areas may induce spiritual or mystical experiences. Which, makes sense. And like the life review.
So are they basically saying that when you almost die or might be about to die, that your brain basically has spasms?
Or the brain protects the body. Just like the pain.
For most of us.
The brain will only allow you to go through so much pain.
Mm-hmm.
That's what shock is.
Yeah.
When you go into shock, it's your brain cutting shit off so you don't have to endure that much pain. This could be the brain's, that same mechanism, I guess, or whatever, where the brain, we're getting ready to die. We need to make this as peaceful,
Throw in the towel.
Let's make it, let's one last good ride. Make it easier for us.
Well, yeah, because, our ancient ancestors didn't want to feel like what it felt like to get chewed.
Yeah.
Probably basically the breakdown of it.
Which, but actually, that's what I just forgot. That's number 4 on this, the psychological response, the mind's defense mechanism against death-related fear or trauma. That's pretty much what scientists might say. Those are the things that scientists might poo-poo this concept. But who knows?
Just all shit talk tonight.
Who knows? I mean, it's a really good question. Like DMT.
I have a lot of this shit go on in the bathroom.
Right. Like DMT. The body produces DMT, but we have whatever that chemical is that kind of takes away the hallucinogen part of it, right? I think something like that. I don't know. But maybe in these death experiences or these near-death experiences, that chemical isn't produced and DMT causes all this. Now, the same argument I've made with DMT in the past, is it just our brain tricking us but with the drug, or does that drug enable us to cross over? And that's why people on DMT have had interactions with the machine elves and shit like that.
All kinds of random shit.
And like I said, like I've talked about in the past, what's interesting about DMT is everybody seems to have this very, very similar experiences. Like these elves and shit. That's what makes it interesting. So I don't know.
What's up with our choppy chops?
I don't know. I updated OBS, so it might have something to do with it.
We're not even like dropping frames is the weird part.
I know that's weird. Or I haven't rebooted the internet in a while.
This isn't happening right now. We're having a near-death experience.
What if hell was just us on fucking repeat?
Isn't that kind of what it is? Isn't there like one of the biblical theories of hell is like you relive your last day,
your last moment, your worst moment, I guess, or
yeah,
whatever. I think that is one version of it.
I mean, that's what they depicted in what was that shitty movie, like Tales from the Hood or whatever the fuck it was, where the Candyman was basically the black crypt keeper. Like Snoop Dogg was in it. It was a fucking terrible movie.
You ever watch Lucifer, the series?
I've seen it, but I've never watched it.
That was their kind of depiction of hell. That was pretty much what hell. You're in a never-ending loop of, your worst moment or your most traumatic moment.
So basically, that posits that we should just all hope that we die fucking.
No, that's whoever,
then hell becomes
we're
heaven.
Having sex with. That's going to be their reflex.
Well, either way, then hell becomes heaven.
One person's hell is one person's heaven.
Or maybe they're the same thing, or maybe it's a switcheroo. Maybe everybody wants to go to heaven, but it's like human trafficking. You get all this good stuff fed to you, but you get to heaven and it fucking sucks, and everybody in hell's just like on a Carnival cruise.
Carnival cruise would be hell for me.
It wasn't that bad. Like it really there's a lot of people, but it's so I feel like they have like 3-day cruises you could go on. They just like shoot to the Bahamas for like 2 days and come back. We should do that.
Maybe.
Literally, like, your ticket pays for everything for the most part. Other than shopping. You can shop on the ship, which is dope. They have sales while you're on there and shit. You can get fucking...
You see the dog?
Yeah, he's just staring.
Okay.
Once you're in international waters, there's no tax. Drink packages. And the best part, like I said, the food's taken care of.
I will contemplate it.
The most I had to do for food on the boat was schedule a time to go to the restaurant. That's it. You don't even have to go to the restaurant. The fucking cafeteria area with the buffet, I'm pretty sure they just served like whatever was being served at the restaurant that night. But it was kind of nice to sit down and be waited on, and you're like, yes, thank you. And you go, yes, I will have 2 entrees. Thank you, because I'm a fat American pig. And they don't even question it. They're like, all right. You'd think some people be like, Jesus Christ, really? And nope, they're just like, this is normal for me. This is a cruise from America. Everybody gets 2 entrees.
All right, let's get to the good part. We're about ready to wrap up near-death experiences. But let's get to examples of near-death experiences.
Hell yes.
Dr. Eben Alexander, I believe he wrote a book, Proof of Heaven. He was a neurosurgeon who experienced a near-death experience while in a coma due to bacterial meningitis. He reported traveling through a dark void, seeing a brilliant light, and meeting a woman who communicated with him telepathically.
Sounds like aliens.
it's important to note that he was being a neurosurgeon. Naturally, he was skeptical. He later became an advocate for the studying consciousness beyond the brain. Which, you know, I it's like a fighter pilot seeing a UFO. I take them more seriously. Or is he coming through, that motherfucker?
No, he's laying down.
I take him more seriously, or that him or her, I guess, more seriously than
It takes so long to lay down.
a standard eyewitness.
Would it be consciousness at that point?
What?
If it's out of the body, would it not change to something else?
No, I think consciousness is in the way I see the spirit and consciousness are the same thing. And I kind of believe if there is something after it, it's our consciousness. I think I've explained this before, so if I'm repeating myself on the podcast, you probably you didn't hear it because you haven't listened that long. Consciousness is like our brain is like the router or receiver.
Oh, look at you giving analogies.
I'm good at analogies most of the time. But we are receiving, our consciousness is not housed in between our ears. It's housed out in the ether.
It's within our being.
You know, and our brain just receives the signal. And think like this computer. The Wi-Fi is our consciousness. The computer picks up the Wi-Fi and creates this choppy ass video.
The body is a tool for the translation of consciousness.
I think that's, if the afterlife is real, I think that's how it probably works.
We're all just robots.
Let's get to another case. The Pam Reynolds case. Clinically dead during brain surgery. Body temperature lowered. Blood drained. No brain activity.
Now, is the B silent in Pam?
Pam?
Is it 2 M's?
Pam.
P-A-M-N?
Pam.
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 That's what I fucking said.
Step Brothers?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I've never watched the movie, so.
Oh, you never have?
No. Anyway.
Never mind then. The B silent?
She was having she was having melon surgery, and shit apparently went wrong. She described detailed aspects of the surgery, later verified. So she elevated above. She raised the roof and elevated and was watching. That would freak me out. Somebody cracking open your brain and you're down.
And you're watching it.
Oh, I'd probably throw up.
That's why they have people do like the dude that played banjo and shit while they were doing brain surgery on him. That's why they have people do stuff like that. You ever saw that video?
No.
The dude was getting brain surgery and he was playing his banjo while they were doing it.
He was conscious or awake while.
Yeah.
Fuck me running.
Because there's some stuff, like there's some shit you can't do. Like you have to keep the brain active while doing certain shit.
My brain's not active fucking most of the time.
I mean, fair. That's factual. But like, yeah. So like you have to have brain activity to keep it from like fucking like flatlining in a way. So there's certain brain surgeries where you're awake. Like I'm pretty sure they have people like do like fucking Rubik's cubes and shit.
That would just piss me the fuck off.
No, there's apps.
I'd be taking off the stickers.
No, this is 2025. You just go online and you take one side of it and you plug in every color of all the blocks and it'll solve it for you. It'll tell you all the steps to solve it.
Well, isn't there just one certain pattern that'll...
It's all patterns. It's just figuring out what combination of the patterns of movement.
I thought there was like one pattern and it'll always go back to... I mean, maybe eventually, but I know there's just like an algorithm to like how many times, like, what is it? It's like top row to the right twice, right side down once, and then bottom left once, or something like that. Line dancing videos I've seen.
We'll like move. What is that? It's like the top right one or top right two get moved to the same face.
Right. Now, funny thing is, I could never do the Rubik's Cube, but you remember the pyramid one?
I've never used
that one. I could do. I could always
You're
solve
an
that.
Egyptian.
I walk like it too. A little Bengals joke for you there. Anyway, what was
What
it?
a
We were
terrible
talking
song.
about Pam.
Pam.
With no B or N.
The second M is there's 2 N's.
She, like I said, she reported floating above her body, moving through a tunnel and meeting deceased relatives. Once she woke up from her brain surgery, she was pulled back in to her body. When she woke up, she had no memory loss, remembered everything.
So maybe we're living in hell.
I think I might have been having a conversation with my mom about this. Maybe this is hell.
Maybe these mortal vessels are going through
Maybe.
hell. In our consciousness.
Obviously, I was a prick in the previous life if this is hell. 'Cause
It would explain a lot.
the big guy's not a fan, apparently. Or has just a shitty sense of humor and likes fucking me.
Well, I mean, it would explain a lot because I say all the time, like, if God is real, why do little kids get cancer?
You know, that is a valid argument. And what I hate with religious people,
It's all just part of
here's the
his
thing.
plan.
I'll be honest, I have faith. I am, but I'm not overly religious. I think there's something else. I think there is a creator. But when a religious person, you get in this debate with them and they say, it's his plan.
Why is that his plan?
That's like my mom or dad saying, because I said so.
Yeah,
Go
like why
eat a dick.
why do I want to follow somebody whose plan is to be like, little Timmy, you have stomach cancer.
Right. Okay, let's move on. Impact of
This is
near-death
going to be good
experience.
for you in the long run.
Impact of near-death experience on individuals. Reduce fear of death, which we covered a little bit. Increase spirituality or religious beliefs. Greater compassion or empathy. So I've never had a near-death experience, a true one, because I am not compassionate. I don't like people. Shifts in values, less materialistic, more focused on relationships and purpose.
I might have had one or two.
While science proves, how should I say this? Science does, I don't want to say use the word debunk. I think that science does account for a lot of this. I think with the brain chemical. However, I think, like anything else, I think there's 2 ends of the spectrum and the truth is somewhere in the middle.
We're all on the spectrum.
Right. Well, yes, we are. Now, that covers NDEs, which I don't think is it doesn't prove or disprove anything.
Yeah, like all that shit could just be your brain going fucking nutso because you're dying.
No,
potentially.
The next thing is where it gets weird, and I think it lends a little bit more credibility to it. Children's past lives memories.
These are just creepy.
But it makes you think. It makes you go, For decades, researchers like Dr. Ian Stevenson and Dr. Jim Tucker of the University of Virginia have documented children's recalling past lives.
That sounds right.
These cases typically involve children between 2 and 7 who spontaneously speak about a previous life with vivid details, emotional intensity, or unusual behaviors.
Jim Tucker would be a doctor from the University of Virginia.
Excuse me. Common characteristics of a child's past life memory. Detailed descriptions of the past life. Children provide names, locations, and events from a previous life. Some details are later verified as accurate. Phobias or emotional reactions linked to past deaths. Intense fear related to how they claim to have died, like drowning, fire, accidents.
Are 3 things that you want your kid to be afraid of?
Well, it's like there's certain things I fear more than others. Don't fear drowning that much. Fire, that would be a horrific way to die.
Yeah, especially because you don't even die from the fire. You die from asphyxiation usually first.
But I think the pain would be so immense that it would just be unbearable.
Unless you went head first into a volcano.
Yeah, probably.
I feel like that's pretty much instant.
Now, sometimes these children will have unusual skills or knowledge. Some children exhibit knowledge or abilities beyond their current experience, like speaking in foreign language, piloting, technical skills.
Aversion to certain activities or foods.
What?
I'm just reading your note. So autistic kids.
Or food. Like, obviously, in my past life regression, I hated anything white and creamy. So sour cream and all that shit. I probably died in a vat of sour cream or something.
Or your former self was a altar boy.
Possibly. Because if it's white and creamy, Phil, I ain't eating it.
What a homophobe.
No, I just don't like sour cream. Don't like mayonnaise. All that shit's nasty.
Mayonnaise is
ranch
food,
dressing,
boob.
you could fuck off with that shit.
Ranch dressing's all right.
No.
I prefer blue cheese myself.
Oh, that's even worse.
It actually has flavor.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so
you seem like more of a vinaigrette guy.
Yeah, I am.
That's a risky one.
Why?
Vinaigrette.
Why?
Spell that wrong. See how that works out for you.
All right. Anyway, like I was saying, children sometimes have abilities like, there are those virtuosos or whatever that can play the guitar.
Yeah.
This very well could be an explanation for this. People who can just understand, like, music is always a good example because it's very complex. People don't, it's very hard to do, very complex. So this is possible. But like I said, foreign language, kids can just speak German all of a sudden. And he wants to be called Adolf. I don't know. Fuck.
The music one's kind of hit and miss too.
Right.
Because there's definitely some people that are more musically inclined than others naturally.
But like a child, I've seen videos of I heard stories of like a baby just all of a sudden going to a piano and start playing.
Or like all the little kids you see on America's Got Talent. They're like 6 and they're like, I'm going to play Beethoven's Ninth Symphony in E minor flawlessly. And you're like, no, you're not. And they go, yeah, fuck you. Yes, I am. You're not my dad. You can't tell me what to do.
Fuck you, Bob.
Fuck you, Simon Cowell.
There are those that believe birthmarks or physical traits are a sign of accompany this.
The whole birthmarks are like scars of how your former death in former lives and
Stevenson's research suggests birthmarks and deformities sometimes match injuries or scars from the past life. That means I'm on a little share time here with the kids. Means I must have got shot in the ass.
I have one on the back of my head. Like upper neck.
Huge.
Yeah, like upper neck, lower head region.
I got a birthmark right on my ass. I must have got shot or speared in the ass.
Choir boy.
Well, if he was choir boy, he missed.
Came in a little too hot.
He came in from the side. I must have jerked real quick.
Mass ran over a little bit and he came in too fast.
Now, what's interesting about...
That means two things.
Yes, what's interesting about this is, like I said, it generally starts between 2 and 7, but it gradually starts fading. They lose these memories. The memories typically emerge around 2 to 4 years old and fade as the child integrates into their current identity. Now, there are some very interesting, there's a lot of documented cases.
No, don't fuck up this name.
Now I'm going to. James Leininger. Leininger. There's a G in there somewhere. See
Jamie Leinenkugel.
Jamie. He had a memory of being a World War II pilot. At the age of 2, James had intense nightmares of dying in a plane crash. Claimed to be a pilot named James who flew a Corsair off a ship called Natoma, I guess. Named a fellow pilot Jack Larson who was real. All this was details about his past life were later confirmed through military records. There was a Jack Larson pilot. This was a ship, and so how would a 2 at age
was
2?
Jack Larson ever on that ship?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's.
I was like, because that could be explained away in a serendipitous manner.
I mean, it could be explained away and I believe I might have missed. I didn't put that in the notes.
He's not paused on a real good face for me.
He was not related to any of these people, so it wasn't like a story he heard. You know, overheard people talking about, say.
What if somebody was like, wait, wasn't that 60 Minutes the episode the other night about a guy named Jack Larson on the Natoma in World War II?
That's true. Another one out of India was Shanti Deva. At age 4, she claimed to be a woman named Lugdi Deva from Mathura, whatever, who died.
Come back, Mathura! Please come back,
Who died during childbirth. She gave specific names, places, and her husband's identity. An investigation led by Mahatma Gandhi's team.
Wasn't he a piece of shit?
Apparently. Verified many details. Recognized her past life husband. She actually recognized him, I guess, through a picture. Excuse me. And family, even knowing private details.
Well, that's a whole different thing. Those Hindus, they're tapped into some other shit. I'm assuming she was Hindu.
A third one was a Burmese boy with a birthmark.
He just got bit by a snake.
Born with a birthmark resembling a bullet wound at the back of his head. Travis claimed to remember it's not very hard for a fucking birthmark to resemble a bullet wound. Would you listen? Claimed to remember being a school teacher who was shot from behind.
So he was a teacher in America.
He was in the ghetto. What was that Michelle Pfeiffer movie with Coolio? Or did the song?
Fuck.
Oh, anyway.
The song, instantly, I know. Yeah. But the movie... Go ahead.
Investigation confirmed a teacher matching his description had been killed in that same manner.
I gotta look it up.
Okay, there's another one out of Hollywood. Ryan Hammond's Hollywood past life. At age of 4, Ryan described being a Hollywood agent, named actors, movie scenes, and a Beverly Hills home. Identified a photo of Marty Martin, a Hollywood agent, saying, "That's me." For one, that is a stupid-ass name.
Dangerous Minds.
Dangerous Minds, there it is. Verified obscure details about Martin's life, like not really publicly available. Theories behind the phenomenon. Oh, I'm sorry. I guess that was it. But he did name other actors that
he worked with.
That he worked with in past life. And you remember, I forget, at the age of 4, he wasn't watching fucking classic movie channel, whatever, the AMC, whatever.
You never know. I watched some pretty weird shit when I was young.
Right. Now, let's get into the theories behind this phenomenon. Reincarnation. The soul retains memories and is reborn in a new body.
Mm-hmm.
Genetic memory. Memory passes through DNA, which is a thing.
Yeah, but would it be shit like that, or would it be like survival technique?
Well, here's the thing. It's kind of gonna go into what we talked about with consciousness. There are those people that believe we're all connected. We're like our consciousness, all of our consciousness comes from the same place and spreads out and comes to us individually.
Like the mother tree from
right.
Fucking...
Think of it like Avatar?
Yes.
So if we're all connected, these genetic memories could be encoded in us. Just like, what is it the example of? It's, especially in the animal kingdom. How does,
like hive mentality type shit?
Yeah, and like how does a dog know to lick its own balls? I don't know.
How does a woodpecker know to peck?
Or just like, especially when it comes to, we have an ingrained fear of the dark because back in the caveman days, that's when the lions and tigers and bears would eat our ass.
Mm.
But especially in animals, it's really more prevalent and you can really see it more. How does a baby cub know to stay away from certain things. It's genetically
It's just
ingrained in them.
Isn't it like all human babies can swim like immediately out of the womb? Or like they for sure know to hold their breath underwater.
Well, I guess. I don't know. But
I think I saw somewhere where like babies technically like know how to swim, not well, but like well enough to like
we
get
float.
to surface and shit like that and
We
stay there.
float. If we don't panic, we float.
Yeah.
You just lay there, you're going to float. We're very buoyant.
Yeah, you can like throw a baby in a pool, it'll float.
Yeah. Now, when you start fucking panicking and
You heard it here first, folks. Go out there, throw a baby in a pool.
I don't want the fucking emails. But I think that reincarnation is kind of interesting. I mean,
We're just being recycled.
yeah, we just keep reliving. The theory is, we come to this plane to learn lessons, and we keep doing it till we learn all the lessons, and we graduate high school, I guess you could say, and then we move on to the next, or we reach a higher being, but we're learning all the lessons. And
what's next?
I guess that'd be heaven. I don't know. Which plays into the hell.
Or it's like the same thing and you just have to do it slightly different. It's like watching a TV show for 8 seasons and every 3 seasons they change the opening song a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm interested in reincarnation. I interviewed somebody on this channel early on.
That was reincarnated?
Or she had a spirit guide. I have to go look at the episode. I mean, it's like first year.
Yeah.
And she wrote a book about it. Fuck.
Oh no, I wish we had enough pull because totally unrelated to this whole thing.
Yeah.
I want to interview Eben Hillman.
I haven't. Who's Amen?
He's a Greek classicist who's like really out there, but like really throws out some pretty groundbreaking or ground shattering ideas of the Bible via translations of Greek Bibles, which are some of the oldest Bibles. Much different. It was not 12 disciples in the garden with Jesus when he was apprehended. It was 12 young boys.
Oh, I've heard that story too. But
Or the purple. Everybody was on the same drug.
what was it?
And it gave you purple lips and a purple tongue.
Well, what was one of the guys who deciphered the Dead Sea Scrolls came up with the idea that all religion is just a fucking hallucination? It's a
I don't know. I don't know who it was.
It's a mushroom trip.
But
I think
yeah,
it's called something and the sacred mushroom.
yeah, that Eben Hillman dude, he's a out there cat. He's been like blackballed from major universities, even though he won a lawsuit against a major university that fired him for teaching a certain thing. But he's still like blackballed from teaching at major universities. He teaches at like some community college now because it's like the only place that'll hire him. He just had an interesting. I heard him on Danny Jones, and then he was just on Danny Jones again recently.
Oh, is that the bald guy?
Yeah.
He's out there.
Yeah, he is. But he's fucking interesting, and he is accredited with like his education and shit like that is legitimate.
He's a doctor. Doesn't he have a doctor?
I think so. Yeah. And it's all legitimate stuff. So I'm like, far be it from me to say that somebody being really fucking strange makes them any less adequate at deciphering something than the next guy. But did you hear his newest one?
No, what?
It was an interview. It was him. There's 2 guests. It was him and the Catholics, quote unquote, or Catholic Church's #1 exorcist.
Yeah.
It lasted like an hour before the exorcist walked out.
No shit.
Yeah. Because it was funny because like he was like he kept having to tell Eben Hillman, he was like, now let him talk, let him ask his question, da da da. And he was like, let's not be argumentative in what we're saying and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, he did call him a coward several times.
Ooh.
Eben Hillman called the priest a coward a couple of times and like all this other stuff. But I was like, the guy was like, I'm not here to be spoken to, like da 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 da. And I'm like, the whole time I'm like, you're also being defamatory towards him. He's just doing it in a more normal speaking pattern with like cuss words and shit, you're also being derogatory towards what he has done and has said in his career. What's the fucking difference?
Well, I mean, if you're breaking down the name calling, then there's a difference. Could you call me a cocksucker? You know,
he said no.
You can have a disagreement.
Nobody called anybody a jive turkey.
You can have a disagreement and have a debate, but when you start name calling, then that takes it to the next level. That's gonna get your ass beat.
I mean, I
there's no need to be a dick and get personal about it, but you can have a difference of opinion. And
yeah, like the one side was a little bit childish.
Yeah,
but both sides were talking shit about each other. I was like, you're also talking shit about him.
Well, here's the thing about
you're just on a high horse because you got that fucking collar on.
Here's the skinny on all of it. Nobody, and I've said this a million times early on in days of this podcast, if somebody says they're an expert on the paranormal or on spiritual things, go fuck yourself. There's no such thing.
Right.
You can't be an expert.
Yeah, I lend more credence to the weird bald guy with the tattoo than the priest. Because the weird bald guy in the tattoo with the tattoo on his head, I can look at me and say, "Oh, I'm an expert in the language of ancient Greece and ancient Greek history,"
well,
which he is.
Right. I mean, and generally with people of the Vatican, they're experts on their books.
Yeah.
You know, but nobody fucking knows.
Well, mind you, this is one of those exorcists that's done like a couple 100,000 exorcisms, you know, numbers that are literally fucking impossible.
Yeah. I mean, nobody fucking knows for sure.
You know, the guy that does, he was like, he was good. He was friends with Gabriel Amarth. He knew Gabriel. Yeah, he knew Gabriel. He just called him Gabriel.
One of our best listened as number one.
Yeah, he was like on that shit where it was like, you know, that is a large number of exorcisms, but some of those were group exorcisms. Fuck you. I don't think it works like that.
I like a menage a trois exorcism.
I don't think that a group exorcism is a thing if exorcism is real. Here's
the thing about exorcism. Do I think there's a spirit world? Yes. Do I think there are such things as demons? Do I think there's good and bad and everything?
Yeah.
And the spirit world would be no different.
And demon just being the accepted word for that thing.
I relate demonic possession much like UFOs. Follow me. 90% of UFOs can be explained away by unknown technologies that we are working on. We have that we don't know. That's secret technologies that we're working on. 95% of it. There's 5% of it, I believe. Now these numbers can float. That might be legitimate. Exorcism is the same way. 95% of that is just
mental
health.
Yeah.
But there's 5% of it that, you know, might be something. There might be something to it.
Oh, also, Amon Hillman being a little bit childish calling names, I can kind of accredit to the fact that the guy did openly say that Amon Hillman, for sure, without a doubt in his mind, has a demon in him. That's basically being called a name.
Well, yes and no. I see the point, though. Let's wrap this.
He got his ass at the end, though. He said something about like while the guy was like packing up and leaving, he was like, "Don't touch my daughter on your way out." And I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "Well, I mean, it's all the gloves are off once you start walking out of an interview."
Your daughter would be safe.
Yeah, that's true.
Wrong gender.
But just in general, yeah, it was an interesting. This is the shortest Danny Jones podcast I've ever heard by far.
Yeah, there's some he makes fucking Joe Rogan's seem like shorts.
But they're more interesting. Depending on who it is.
I just have a hard time listening. I've tried to listen to him, and if it's not a really good guest, I've watched one of his episodes with that guy on. Just him.
Amon Hillman?
Yeah.
He's an interesting cat. He's fucking weird, but he's interesting.
I watched the video because they had real dark one. They had been candlelight one time.
Oh, yeah. That was... Fuck, who was that?
That was him.
Was it?
Yeah.
Because I think he's done more than one like that.
He's been on even Danny Jones multiple times.
Oh no! I thought like I've seen Danny Jones do one like that.
Oh,
I believe.
Yeah, but
I think it was like with a ghost expert.
Let's land the plane here. When we're talking about proofs of the afterlife, I have to bring this up, but it's all bullshit. Mediumship or psychics. Many claim to be able to contact the dead, and that the dead do speak to them, and they exist. It's often dismissed. You can't really keep this. This is incredible, but just because there's a lot of con artists out there that are cold reading you, so you almost have to throw the baby out with the bathwater on this one.
Yeah.
Do I think there are people with special powers that maybe do have a connection to the spirit world? Yes, but most of them are just mentalists.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like the 95%, 5%. UFOs and exorcism.
Only 5% are X-Men.
Right. But like I said, there's this way to, you can't use this as proof of the afterlife just for the mere fact of you never really, really know if this person is a con artist or they are. So I don't know. So I had to mention it, but I'm just throwing it out. And that's really all I have for this. We don't need to go into conclusion. So
really, go die and find out.
Let us know. I tell you what, when I kick the bucket,
send me an email.
No, I'll just leave the chair open for me, and I'll be going.
That's it.
Knock once for yes, twice for no. We'll do a podcast from beyond the realm, and we still won't get any God-forsaken viewers.
Yeah, it's all right.
All right, that's it. That's all I got. Fuck them.
No idea what I'm doing next week. Haven't even thought about it.
Whatever it is,
it'll come together.
It always does.
Eventually. And then until we take 4 months off.
We're not taking 4 months off anymore. We're not doing that shit.
We never intended to do it the first time.
Well, you know, we're still we're recovering slowly but surely from that. It was basically 6 months off, really, with 1 or 2 sprinkled in
for like no reason. There was like I thought about that. I was like, we might as well just not done them, like for real.
Yeah. So we will be back. We might have to take a week off here and there. Life happens. I'm old. I could have a stroke again. I could fall and break my back. It's very possible. But I will fucking podcast from the hospital. Bring it in, bitches.
Phone interview.
I want my sponge bath while I'm doing the podcast. If that doesn't get us some views. Anyway.
Podcast from the toilet with the little string hanging next to it.
Yeah. Anyway. So, like I said, we'll be back next week. Generally, probably Wednesday-ish, probably, I would imagine.
We'll find out. So a day that ends with Y.
It'll be Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday.
Or Friday, or Saturday, or Sunday.
Well, my Fridays are going to be out the door here soon. And I'll explain why off air.
That's Skyline Day.
Yes. So we will be back next week for another fun live stream. So if you're listening to this on your favorite podcast app, once again, shameless plug, head on over to YouTube, subscribe, and watch us live.
And if you're watching this live, or if you're watching it at all, go to Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts and leave us a review.
Yes, and you can watch the video there.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I put the video up there.
I don't use Spotify, so I forgot about that.
Actually, an edited version of this video.
Oh, so even...
This video might get fucked anyway because it's choppy as my penis.
We should hire an animator to do cartoons for us.
Well, when we start making money, we will do that.
Yeah, ChatGPT could probably do it.
Probably. All right. We'll see you next week. Take care. Don't die. And if you do,
let us know what happened.
If you have a near-death experience, send us an email at gitmpodcast@gmail.com. See you, bitches.
On Hotmail.
Yahoo.com. AOL. I think I still have an AOL somewhere. I have no idea what the password is. We're fucking